The holiday season has arrived, and now's the time to visit the PressBox store at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can find great gifts for every sports fan on your list, like these magazines you're seeing now, or where for less than $20 you can get a monthly home subscription of PressBox for a full year. Go to PressBoxOnline.com now for more information.
Could we have another one here in the finals?
First title, Dave Wright. Excuse me, your first major title. The front eight
in a row.
The front eight, Miller Park, in front of thousands. Danny Wiseman, perfection through 8 frames.
Congratulations from Steve Miller and Fred Schreier. And a word back home to Dorothy Potter, his mom, stepdad Jerry Potter as well, watching in Baltimore.
Wait a minute. Time out.
What's he got in store for us here?
It's been a long time for this one. I got it! Yeah!
Now, when you went down on one knee like that, I thought you were doing the Tebow thing. You know, you were
Could have
praying.
been. I was way before him, see?
Hey, first of all, the most noticeable thing of that to me was that that was held in Miller Park,
Absolutely.
the Milwaukee Brewers baseball stadium. Yep. What was that like to? I'm usually. Bowling is an environment, a set environment. What was that like?
That was incredible.
Yeah.
They installed the lanes right there on the first base line. There was about 5,000 or 6,000 people that came out for that. And another memorable moment. That's something I'll never forget. It was incredible to be able to perform like that in front of the crowd and in that environment. You know, I grew up playing baseball, so you know, to win my first major title, you know, the USBC Masters in a baseball stadium. You know, doing what I love to do is fantastic.
Hey, help me out for a second because of that. The Masters is held each year in November or January?
Actually, this year it's in January.
Okay.
January, yes. That was actually in October of 2004. It's different times each year, but you know, we have the Masters, USBC Masters coming up in mid-January, and then another major is the US Open in February, and then our Tournament of Champions is in April. In between, there are other tournaments that you know you could check out on PBA.com in the schedule.
Or DannyWisemanBowling.com.
Correct. On my website, I've got a Facebook page, and there's links to the PBA schedule and all that. And I'll be heading out of town the middle of January.
So you are on the tour this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt
see how it goes.
Yeah. I bowled the World Series of Bowling in Vegas. Those shows are actually going to be airing on Sundays.
Right.
Intertwining with the majors that are going to be live coming up January to April. You know, I didn't fare so well. No shows. I won't be on any of those. You know, I wish that I would have made some, and they taped all that. It's been a struggle the last couple of years. So I'm looking at doing some different things coming up.
So tell me one other thing about that. The thing at the Masters that you won in 2004. You were, I heard from a little lady that's special in your life, your girlfriend Dana. You were the first one to start to wear those flaming shirts.
Well, you know, I used to go out to, and I still do occasionally, I go out to to see some local bands and all that, and used to wear flame shirts and tribal stuff, and, you know, I got some tattoos and whatnot, and you know, when the new PBA owners bought out the PBA, they wanted to showcase our personalities.
Right.
So what better way of doing it than, you know, utilizing the attire. And, you know, my good friend and one of my heroes, Barry Asher, did it back in the early 70s, and then you had Ernie Schlegel do it in the mid to late 70s. And I thought it was something, you know, that separated me away from your normal basic polo collar shirt bowler.
Now, you have been a pro bowler for close to 25 years with the 10 pins, okay?
Sure.
The big ball. Little balls, duck pins, which
Baltimore
is
game.
Yeah, Baltimore game.
Yeah.
First of all, is that game still thriving, Danny? Or is it really starting?
A lot of centers have closed, from what I heard. I know some of the duck pin pro bowlers. It's a shame because the thing that really got it was a Sherman pin setter back in the 50s. They didn't sell that out to Brunswick. And if Brunswick would have bought that pin setter that set duck pins up,
right,
who knows where that could be today.
Yep.
It's a really fun sport. It's very, to me, basic because you don't worry about lane conditions and bowling balls like we have to in my sport today. Back in the 50s and 60s, they were a lot closer. But with the advent of the technology in 10-pin bowling today, there is a big separation. You have to be very smart and knowledgeable of the technology with the bowling balls, cover stocks, lane oils, lane patterns. Duck pins is simplified in that part, but it's still a very difficult game,
Duck pins, though, when you were really in your game, you couldn't go back and play it recreationally, could you?
No,
because it would totally throw you off.
It's a whole different timing. I kind of throw it the way I do. I'll mess around with it here and there, and I kind of look the same throwing it in duck pins I do in 10 pins, but it's very difficult. I'd have to really practice that to get pretty good, back to 120, 130, and the pros average 150 in that game.
How old were you when you bowled your first game? 6?
4. Duck pins, East Points.
Okay.
Yep, started there up till about 5 or 6, and then went over to AMF, which is now AMF Dundalk on Mare Boulevard. First league, I was 7, averaged 119, 10 pins.
Was it always magical going into the bowling alley for you, the lighting?
It was.
Yeah.
Going back to when I was younger, my dad would set pins up down the basement, and I'd do it all during the week, and then league would come on Saturday. And it was every week we look forward to that. Just like any other, I played baseball too, so between both of those sports, it was always something to look forward to. And as I got older, I progressed, and I got better at it and better, and just kept learning about it. And I was always trying to stay a step ahead of everyone else.
Danny Wiseman, pleasure to meet
you
and talk to you about your career.
Appreciate it.
42nd all-time. 10-pin bowling started in 1958. He's 42nd all-time. We'll wrap things up when Inside PressBox continues right after this. Inside PressBox is presented by Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Go to FreedmontMortgage.com now for all of your mortgage needs.